It's a disgrace. It's embarrassing. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta lays into VAR and the refereeing decisions after their 1-0 loss to Newcastle. Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to On Me Head, son. I hope you're all well. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications bell for all future videos. Arsenal went away to Newcastle and lost 1-0. But the real story here is whether the goal that Newcastle scored, whether it should have been allowed. And there's a huge debacle. It took 4 or 5 minutes just to go through the VAR process. Was the ball out of play? I think we can safely say now that it was just in play. Was there a hint of handball? Was there a hint of offside? None of that really matters because the overriding factor here was missed by the referee and also missed by the linesman and also missed by VAR itself. And that was the push in the back on the Arsenal defender. There was a clear foul there. There was a clear foul and nobody seemed to pick it up. So what's the point of having VAR? We asked this question over and over again. The failures within VAR, and it's never been a technical issue, but rather it's subjective interpretation of rules, of incidents. But in this case, the people at VAR, the video assistant referees, could not even advise the referee on the pitch that there was a foul. There was a foul on the defender. Now, some people would come out and say, no, it wasn't really a foul. It was just one of those things. Fouls have been given for a lot less, but here was a clear push in the back of the defender. It's almost like a push in the back of the head. Just to climb up, you're using the player in front of you as leverage just to get yourself higher. That is a clear foul. So not only did the referee miss that incident, but also VAR missed that incident as well. Whether the ball went out of play or not, or whether it was so close to line, or whether Newcastle player Gordon was offside, or whether it was a bit of a handball from Joel Linton, that's kind of irrelevant. The biggest mistake they made was a failure to see the obvious foul, and that would have been to disallow the goal. Mikel Arteta, Arsenal manager, came out afterwards ranting and raging. VAR is a disgrace, a referee's a disgrace, everything's a disgrace, everything is embarrassing, the English game is embarrassing. Now, it wasn't so long ago that if a manager came out and started saying these words, then they'd probably get fined by the FA for, daring to criticise a referee. But we've got VAR in place to stop these kinds of decisions from happening. These footballing injustices should not happen. But once again, VAR and the people at VAR are failing on the big decisions. Now, was it right for Mikel Arteta to come out and be so emotional, so vocal about it? Well, that's up for debate, isn't it? Whether he should have sought counsel before making those statements, not only to the cameras immediately after, but also in the press conference afterwards. Maybe he should have just held his tongue. Maybe he should have used different words. That's all up for debate. But the fact of the matter is that a crucial decision was made, or not made as the case may be, and this led to a goal being allowed for Newcastle. Newcastle United beat Arsenal 1-0. There were so many other instances in this game of poor refereeing decisions or questionable refereeing decisions, whether yellow cards should have indeed been red cards. So the refereeing, again, within the game itself was poor. But VAR is supposed to step in during these particular instances and say, yes, this was a clear foul here, this was a clear offside, this was a clear infringement, this is a clear handball, therefore disallow the goal. Now, sometimes, of course, it does become subjective. Was it unintentional? How far away from the body line was the arm in the case of a handball? All these kinds of variables do play a part. But when it's clear for everybody to see that there was a definite infringement, there's a definite foul, then you can kind of understand why Mikel Arteta is getting so crazy about this. So emotional, so het up about it. Now, I'm not an Arsenal fan, so for me, it doesn't matter. And if Arsenal had been better on the day and beaten Newcastle 3 or 4-1, then hey, nobody would be really talking about it this much, and certainly Mikel Arteta wouldn't be coming out after the match bemoaning the referee decisions, bemoaning VAR for that one goal. But because they weren't offensively that great, because they didn't score any goals, because they struggled against a very good Newcastle United team, all of a sudden it becomes a big issue. And this is kind of what he was saying, in the fine margins where these crucial decisions are making a big difference. It's inexcusable for VAR and the people behind VAR, and also the referee on the pitch as a collective, to be making such poor decisions. It's inexcusable. But one of the big issues here is that it's the justification of these decisions and the justification of when they make a right decision, but especially when VAR is in the dock. It's under scrutiny. What justification is there from VAR, from the refereeing association, or from the FA itself? What justification is there for making such a poor decision? And this season is not the first season we've had VAR controversies. But this very season, we've had about 3 or 4 really poor decisions. Now, again, we could talk about technology, VAR, how slow it is, what it's like in the stadiums, what it's like for, people at home watching it, the graphics they're using. All this is kind of noise, really, when we consider that VAR was introduced to rule out, to nullify some of the mistakes that referees and linesmen make. And when you're playing a game at such high pace, then mistakes can easily happen. And referees and linesmen or assistant referees are not immune from this. However, the VAR system is there in place to iron out those differences, iron out those creases. And it just isn't happening on a regular basis. In fact, it's happening too often. Overwhelmingly, VAR does prove that it is working on a regular basis. It is getting the right decision. But all too often, it is highlighting that the people within VAR are just not doing their jobs properly. Just cannot see that they're making the wrong decision. So what does this mean? Does this mean that there should be a shake-up within the VAR system as well? Many are calling for ex-professional footballers to be in there as well, to give another point of view. But in cases like this, and in the Liverpool case against Tottenham a few weeks ago, in cases like this, where there's a clear error, it's obvious for everybody to see. So why are these decisions being made? Why are these errors being made? As I say, I'm not an Arsenal fan here. And if Arsenal played better on the day, this wouldn't even really be a discussion. But because they didn't play as well, because they couldn't score, because they lost the game, that's another 3 points lost. And they can see that Manchester City are just becoming the machine that we know they are, and they're just going to pull away. That they know that those 3 points were 3 points really lost, and it's going to hurt them towards the end of the season. This is why it's so important. This is why it's so important to Mikel Arteta, to Arsenal fans. But this is why it's so important to every fan of every club in the Premier League, especially because we're talking about VAR here as well. Because whilst we might chuckle at another team's misfortune, that same decision, that same error in judgment can easily happen to us as well. Can easily happen to any other club. And it probably will. Nothing really came of the error in the Liverpool and Tottenham game. Will anything happen now because of this major error? I doubt it. And that's probably the biggest indictment on the VAR system and the people within the VAR system and also the FA. If they can't see that the VAR system and the people within it, it's a broken system, then there's no hope for the game. There's no hope for ever getting an accurate decision. When we're talking about video analysis and cameras from each angle now, there's so much scrutiny on the game. There's so much for fans to scrutinise now that the system has to be so robust that it cannot be called into question. If we're going to scrutinise the game so much, then it has to be accurate. And the methods that we employ, the methods that the officials employ, has to be accurate and has to be robust. Otherwise, it's a broken system, so you might as well just do away with it. How many times have we already called for VAR to be scrapped because it just doesn't work? It just doesn't work consistently enough. And if we're talking about human error, then it's no better from pre-VAR days. It's no better. If human error is the issue, it's no better. And we can talk about improving understanding or changing rules or, the odd mistake here and there. But these are mistakes that should not happen. These are the mistakes that cost people their jobs, cost teams the win, cost teams challenging for a title. It's big money, it's big business, and it means a lot in these terms, in footballing terms. Something needs to happen. Something needs to happen with VAR. But the FA, Referees Association, VAR, they need to come out and explain why this happened. And explain the reasons why they made the decision. And if they can't be questioned, and if they can't give these answers, then again, the system is broken. Therefore, it needs to be scrapped. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Was Mikel Arteta, was he right to come out after the game and have his rant, let's say? Was he right to criticise VAR and the referees? Was he right to feel unjustified? Do all Arsenal fans now, do they have the right to feel unfairly treated, as were Liverpool fans a few weeks ago? What about all football fans? Surely we need a better VAR system, or we just scrap the system entirely. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications bell for all future videos. And I'll catch you again. Bye now.